She was just a trembling waitress with a fading bruise and nowhere left to run, until she begged the most powerful man in the room to hide her from the monster she called her husband. What this African king did next shocked everyone in that Boston hotel and triggered a scandal that would threaten his crown, his country, and everything he'd ever known. But here's what no one saw coming. The broken woman hiding in his royal suite wasn't just asking to be saved. She was about to teach a king what it truly meant to be fearless. Their story went viral. The press called it reckless. His advisors called it career suicide. And her husband, he made one final, unforgivable move that forced them both to choose between love and survival. Subscribe right now and comment where you're watching from, because this real-life fairy tale is about to take a turn you will not believe. The morning sun painted golden streaks across the marble floors of the Grandview Hotel in Boston. Clara Jensen adjusted her black apron and tucked a loose strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Her hands trembled as she poured water into crystal glasses at table 12. She could feel it again, that awful tightness in her chest, that fear that lived in her bones now. Last night had been bad, worse than usual. Mark had shoved her against the bathroom sink when dinner wasn't ready on time. The edge had caught her just above her left eye, leaving a purple shadow she'd tried desperately to cover with makeup this morning. "You okay, honey?" Lena whispered as she passed with a tray of pastries. Her friend's dark eyes were full of worry. Clara forced a smile. "I'm fine, just tired." "You're always tired lately." Lena squeezed her shoulder. "You know where I am if you need me." Clara nodded but said nothing. What could she say? That she was trapped? That every time she thought about leaving, Mark's voice echoed in her head. "No one will ever love you like I do. You're nothing without me." "Table 12 needs service," Mrs. Palmer called from the hostess stand. The hotel manager's sharp eyes missed nothing. Clara straightened her spine and walked toward the table. Her breath caught when she saw who sat there. The man was tall, taller than anyone she'd ever seen. His skin was deep brown, smooth as polished wood. He wore a navy suit that looked like it cost more than her car, but it was his face that stopped her. Strong jaw, high cheekbones, eyes that held kindness and something else, something that looked like loneliness. Two men in dark suits stood behind him. Guards, she realized. "Good morning," Clara said softly. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "May I take your order?" The man looked up. His eyes met hers and something flickered there. Concern, maybe. "Coffee, please. Black. And the vegetable omelette." His voice was deep, with an accent that made the words sound like music. "Of course," she wrote quickly, trying not to let her hands shake. "Are you well?" he asked. The question surprised her. Guests didn't usually ask servers personal questions. "Yes, sir, thank you." His eyes lingered on her face, on the place where the bruise hid under foundation and powder. She wanted to look away, but couldn't. "You have kind eyes," he said quietly, "but sad ones." Clara's throat tightened. She managed a small smile. "I'll bring your coffee right away." She hurried toward the kitchen, her heart pounding. Who was this man? Why did he look at her like he could see straight through to her broken pieces? "That's King Kwame Adeyemi," Lena said when Clara reached the coffee station. "From some country in West Africa. He's here for a week. Big diplomatic visit." A king. Clara glanced back at table 12. He sat quietly reading something on his phone. One of his guards whispered something and he nodded. She'd served rich people before, famous people, but none of them had ever looked at her the way he had, like she mattered. The morning rush continued. Clara brought his omelette, refilled his coffee twice, cleared his plates. Each time she approached the table, his eyes found hers. Not in a creepy way, in a way that made her feel seen, real, human. It was almost 10 o'clock when Mrs. Palmer approached with the phone. "Clara, there's someone in the lobby asking for you." The tightness in her chest turned to ice. "Who?" But she already knew. "Your husband." The floor seemed to tilt. Clara gripped the edge of the counter. "Tell him I'm busy, please." Mrs. Palmer's expression softened. She'd seen the bruises before. She never said anything. No one ever did. But Clara knew she'd noticed. "I'll try, but he's being quite insistent." Clara's mind raced. Mark shouldn't be here. He was supposed to be at work, unless he'd taken the day off to check on her, to make sure she wasn't talking to anyone, wasn't planning anything. Her eyes darted to the dining room exit, to the service corridor that led to the loading dock. She could run, hide in the storage room until he left, but he'd just come back. He always did. "Clara," Mrs. Palmer touched her arm. "Do you want me to call someone?" "No." The word came out too fast. "No, I'll handle it." She walked toward the lobby on legs that felt like water. Through the glass doors, she could see him. Mark stood by the front desk, his face red, his jaw tight. He wore the same jacket he'd worn last night when he'd hurt her, when he'd grabbed her wrist so hard she could still see the finger marks. "There you are." His voice cut through the lobby's quiet elegance like a blade. "Mark, I'm working." She kept her voice low. "Professional. You shouldn't be here. I can't check on my wife." He stepped closer. She could smell the coffee on his breath, see the vein pulsing in his temple. "You left without saying goodbye this morning. You were asleep. I didn't want to wake you." "Liar." He grabbed her elbow, his fingers dug in. "You were trying to sneak out again." "Sir." One of the hotel security guards moved toward them. "I'm going to have to ask you to lower your voice." Mark's grip tightened. Clara bit her lip to keep from crying out. "This is my wife. This is a private conversation." The guard looked at Clara. She saw the question in his eyes. She could end this right now, could tell him to make Mark leave. But then what? Mark would be waiting when she got home and he'd be even angrier. "It's okay," she whispered. "We're fine." "Clara." Mark started to pull her toward the exit. "Excuse me." The voice was deep, calm, commanding. King Kwame stood in the doorway to the restaurant. His guards flanked him, but he stood in front. His eyes were on Mark's hand, still gripping Clara's elbow. "I believe the lady is working," Kwame said, "and you are disturbing the other guests." Mark's face twisted. "Who the hell are you?" "Someone who does not appreciate violence in any form." Kwame took a step forward. "Release her, now." The lobby had gone silent. Other guests watched. Staff froze in place. Mark's hand loosened slightly. Clara could feel him calculating, deciding if this was worth a fight. "Clara," Kwame said, his eyes finding hers, "do you wish for this man to remain?" It was such a simple question, but the way he asked it, like her answer actually mattered, made something crack open in her chest. "No," she whispered, then louder. "No, I want him to leave." Mark's face went purple. "You ungrateful—" "That is quite enough." Kwame nodded to his guards. They moved forward, their presence alone enough to make Mark step back. "I suggest you depart. Immediately." For a moment, Clara thought Mark might actually try to fight. His fists clenched. His whole body vibrated with rage. But then he saw the hotel security joining Kwame's guards, saw the manager on the phone probably calling the police. "This isn't over," Mark hissed at Clara. Then he turned and shoved through the front doors. Clara's knees buckled. She would have fallen if Kwame hadn't caught her arm. Gently, not like Mark, like she was something precious. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She shook her head, but tears blurred her vision. "Come." He guided her away from the lobby, from all the staring eyes, through the restaurant and down a service corridor. His guards followed at a distance. They stopped at an elevator Clara had never used, the one marked Private Suite Access Only. "You will be safe here," Kwame said as the doors opened. "I give you my word." Clara should have said no, should have gone back to work, but her body was shaking so hard she couldn't think straight, and something in his eyes made her want to trust him. She stepped into the elevator. The royal suite took up the entire top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the Boston skyline, leather couches, fresh flowers, art that probably cost more than Clara made in a year. She stood in the center of the room, hugging herself. Kwame's aide appeared, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses and a permanent frown. "Your Majesty, this is highly inappropriate," the aide said in a low voice, but not low enough that Clara couldn't hear. "Ambassador Malik," Kwame replied, "this woman needed help, we provided it. She's a hotel employee, there are protocols. There is a man who just assaulted her in a public space." Kwame's voice hardened. "Would you have me ignore that?" Malik's jaw tightened. "Of course not, but then we will discuss protocols later." Kwame turned to Clara. "Please, sit. You are trembling." Clara sank onto the couch. Her whole body felt like it might fly apart. Kwame poured water from a crystal pitcher and brought it to her. He sat in the chair across from her, not too close, giving her space. "You are safe now," he said. "No one will harm you here." "I don't understand." Clara's voice cracked. "Why are you helping me?" "Because you asked, and because it is right." Such simple words, but they broke something open inside her. The tears came then, huge, gasping sobs that she couldn't control. Years of fear and pain and shame poured out of her. Kwame didn't touch her, didn't tell her to stop. He simply sat there, his presence steady and calm until the storm passed. When she finally looked up, her face burning with embarrassment, he handed her a cloth napkin. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. I shouldn't—" "You have nothing to apologize for." His voice was gentle. Would you like to tell me what happened? Clara twisted the napkin in her hands. She'd never told anyone the truth. Not really, Lena suspected. Mrs. Palmer probably knew, but speaking it out loud felt impossible. My husband, she started, stopped, started again. Mark, we've been married for 3 years. He wasn't always like this. Or maybe he was, and I didn't see it. I don't know anymore. Kwame listened without interrupting. It started small. He'd get jealous if I talked to male customers. Then he started checking my phone, making me account for every minute I wasn't home. She touched the bruise on her eye without meaning to. Last night was bad. I dropped a plate and it broke. He said I was careless, stupid, that I ruined everything. He hurt you. It wasn't a question. He pushes me sometimes, or grabs too hard. It's not that bad, really. Other women have it worse. Stop. Kwame leaned forward. Do not diminish your pain. What he does to you is wrong. There is no not that bad when someone you love causes you fear. Clara's eyes filled again. No one had ever said that to her before. I tried to leave once, she admitted. Last year. I got as far as the bus station, but I didn't have anywhere to go. No family, no money saved that he didn't know about. He found me before the bus came, brought me home, promised he'd change. She laughed bitterly. He didn't. And now I work. I smile. I pretend everything is fine, because I don't know what else to do. The room fell quiet. Through the windows, Clara could see people walking far below, living their normal lives. She used to have a normal life, before Mark, before fear became her constant companion. You will stay here, Kwame said finally. Clara's head snapped up. What? No, I can't. You can, and you will, at least until we determine a safer plan. Your Majesty, Malik interjected. He'd been standing near the door listening. With all respect, this is not advisable. The press is already taking photos outside. If word gets out that you're sheltering a married woman, then they will know I helped someone in need. Kwame stood. Prepare the guest room and ensure no staff members reveal her presence without my express permission. Malik's expression showed what he thought of that idea, but he nodded and left. Clara stood too, her legs still shaky. I can't let you do this. You don't even know me, and if Mark finds out, he will not harm you while I am here. Kwame's eyes met hers with absolute certainty. This I promise you. Something in her chest loosened, just a little, like a knot that had been pulled tight for years, suddenly had room to breathe. Why? She asked again. Why would you risk anything for a stranger? Kwame was quiet for a moment, then he said, My mother taught me that true power is not in ruling. It is in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. She died when I was young, but I remember her lessons. He walked to the window and looked out at the city. I have wealth, status, guards who would die for me. But what good is any of that if I cannot use it to help one person who needs it? He turned back to her. You begged for help. I will not turn you away. Clara didn't know what to say. Men in her life had always taken. Mark took her confidence, her freedom, her peace. Even before Mark, boyfriends had taken what they wanted and left. But this man was offering, without asking for anything in return. It felt too good to be true. I don't have any clothes, she said finally, or a toothbrush. All my stuff is at home. I will arrange for your friend, Lena, yes, to bring what you need, quietly. Mark will notice if I don't come home tonight. Let him notice. Kwame's voice hardened slightly. If he comes here, my guards will handle it, and if necessary, we will involve the police. I tried that once, Clara said quietly. They came to the apartment, talked to both of us. Mark said it was a misunderstanding, that I was clumsy and hurt myself. They believed him. They will not dismiss you this time, not with witnesses, not with my testimony. Clara wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. But hope was dangerous. Hope was what kept her going back to Mark, believing his promises. Hope was what broke her heart over and over. I'll stay tonight, she heard herself say. Just tonight, then I'll figure something out. Kwame nodded, though something in his eyes said he knew she had nowhere else to go. Come, I will show you the guest room. He led her down a hallway to a bedroom that was bigger than her entire apartment. A king-sized bed with white linens, a bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people. Rest, Kwame said from the doorway. You are safe here. After he left, Clara sat on the edge of the bed. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. 7 missed calls from Mark, 12 text messages. Where are you? You better answer me. Don't make me come back there. You're making a huge mistake. I'm sorry about this morning. Please come home. I love you. You know that, right? Answer me. Her hands shook as she turned the phone off. Through the door, she heard Kwame speaking quietly with Malik. Their voices were too low to make out words, but she caught the tone. Malik was angry, worried, probably telling Kwame what a mistake this was. He was probably right. Clara lay back on the bed. The ceiling was painted white with delicate crown molding, like something from a fairy tale. But fairy tales weren't real, and princes, or kings, didn't rescue broken waitresses. Did they? Clara must have fallen asleep because she woke to gentle knocking. Yes. Her voice was groggy. The door opened a crack. I have brought food, Kwame said. May I enter? She sat up quickly, smoothing her hair. Of course. This is your suite. He came in carrying a tray. Soup, bread, fresh fruit. I wasn't sure what you liked, he said, setting it on the small table by the window, so I requested simple things. You didn't have to do this. I wanted to. He gestured to the chair. Please, eat. Clara realized she was starving. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. Her stomach had been too twisted with fear this morning to think about breakfast. She sat and tasted the soup. It was rich and warm, with vegetables and herbs she couldn't name, better than anything she'd ever made at home. Kwame took the other chair. He didn't eat, just watched her with those steady eyes. Your friend Lena brought clothes, he said. They are in the closet. She was quite worried about you. What did you tell her? The truth, that you needed time away, that you are safe. Clara set down her spoon. People are going to talk about me being up here with you. Let them talk. You're a king. You have a reputation. My reputation will survive gossip. Will yours? The question caught her off guard. She thought about the other waitstaff, the whispers that would start. They'd say she was sleeping with him, that she was using him, that she was a homewrecker even though he wasn't married. I'm used to people thinking badly of me, she said quietly. Mark made sure everyone knew I was difficult, dramatic, that I caused problems. And do you believe him? I don't know what I believe anymore. Kwame was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I believe you are brave. It takes courage to ask for help, more courage to accept it. I don't feel brave, I feel like a coward. Survival is not cowardice. Clara looked at this man who barely knew her, this king who could be anywhere in the world, but chose to sit in this room making sure she ate. Can I ask you something? She said. Of course. Do you ever feel lonely, even with all those people around you? His expression shifted. Something vulnerable flickered across his face. Every day, he admitted, I'm surrounded by advisors, guards, diplomats, but they see my crown, my title. They do not see me. That sounds awful. It is the price of power, or so I have been told. He leaned back in his chair. But I wonder sometimes what it would be like to be ordinary, to walk down a street without security, to have a conversation that is not about trade agreements or diplomatic relations. To be seen, Clara said softly. Yes, to be seen. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Clara realized they weren't so different. Both of them trapped by circumstances, both of them lonely, both of them desperate to be something more than the roles forced upon them. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing me. Thank you for allowing me to be human, even for a moment. Clara spent the afternoon in the guest room. She showered, changed into the jeans and sweater Lena had packed, tried not to think about what Mark was doing, what he was planning. Around 4 o'clock there was a commotion outside, raised voices. Clara cracked open the door and heard Malik arguing with someone. Cannot speak with her. I'm her husband. I have rights. Clara's blood turned to ice. Mark was here. She stepped into the hallway. Kwame's guards blocked the entrance to the suite. Mark stood on the other side, his face purple with rage. Clara, he shouted when he saw her. Get out here right now. Sir, you need to leave, one of the guards said. I'm not leaving without my wife. Kwame appeared from his office. His presence filled the space, calm, commanding. You were told to stay away, he said. You think you can steal my wife? Keep her locked up here like some kind of... I have stolen nothing. She came here of her own will. She's confused. She doesn't know what she wants. Clara, baby, come on. Let's go home and talk about this. Clara's whole body shook, but she forced herself to speak. No. Mark's eyes widened, like he couldn't believe she'd defied him. What did you say? I said no. I'm not going with you. You don't mean that. You're just upset about yesterday. I told you I was sorry. You're always sorry. The words burst out of her. You're sorry until the next time, until I do something else wrong, until you decide I need to be taught a lesson. Watch your mouth. No. Clara took a step forward. Her legs felt like jelly, but she kept going. I'm done being scared. Done making excuses for you, done pretending this is normal. Mark looked at Kwame. What did you tell her? What lies did you put in her head? I told her nothing. She speaks her own truth. This is bullshit. Mark pointed at Clara. You've got 48 hours. If you're not home by then, I'm filing a missing persons report. I'm telling everyone you ran off with some foreign guy. I'll ruin you. Then ruin me, Clara said. I don't care anymore. For a second, pure hatred flashed across Mark's face. Clara saw it clearly for the first time. How much he hated that he couldn't control her, that she'd found someone who made her feel strong enough to say no. You'll regret this, he said quietly. Then he turned and stalked toward the elevator. When the doors closed behind him, Clara's legs gave out. She sank to the floor, her whole body shaking. Kwame knelt beside her. You did well. I can't believe I just did that. You were magnificent. Clara laughed, but it came out like a sob. I was terrified. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite it. She looked at him through blurry eyes. What happens now? Now you rest. Tomorrow we will make a plan. He meant what he said about ruining me. Let him try. Kwame's voice was steel. I will not allow him to hurt you again. Clara wanted to believe him, but she'd spent 3 years learning that promises meant nothing. That evening, Clara sat alone in the guest room, while Kwame had meetings. She heard Malik's voice through the door, sharp and insistent. The press is asking questions. They saw the incident in the lobby, saw him return. They know someone is in the suite with you. Then they know. Your Majesty, please think about what this means. A married woman, an abusive situation. The optics, I do not care about optics. The council will care, your father will care. My father is dead, and the council answers to me, not the other way around. This woman will destroy your reputation. There was a long pause. Then Kwame said, if my reputation cannot survive an act of compassion, then it deserves to be destroyed. Clara pressed her hand to her mouth. He was defending her, to his own people, risking everything for a woman he barely knew. She shouldn't let him. She should leave tonight. Disappear. Go somewhere Mark couldn't find her. But where? She had $200 in her checking account. No car, no family within 1,000 miles. She was trapped, just in a different kind of cage. Clara walked to the window and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere down there, Mark was planning his next move, and she had no idea how to stop him. A soft knock made her turn. Kwame stood in the doorway. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I heard you and Malik. I didn't mean to cause you problems. You have caused nothing. The problem existed long before you entered this suite. Still, you're a king. You have responsibilities. You can't just, I can do exactly what I wish. He stepped into the room. That is what being king means. Even if it costs you. What does it cost? Some negative headlines. Gossip. He shook his head. These things will pass. But if I turn you away now, if I let fear rule my choices, I will have to live with that forever. Clara felt tears building again. She was so tired of crying. I don't understand you, she whispered. Then perhaps we are even, because I do not fully understand you either. He smiled slightly. But I would like to, if you will let me. There was something in his voice, something that made her heart beat faster. Malik thinks I'm trouble, she said. Malik thinks everyone is trouble. He's probably right about me. He is wrong about you. Kwame moved closer. You are not trouble. You are strong, stronger than you know. I don't feel strong. Strength is not in never being broken. It is in choosing to stand again after you fall. Clara looked at him, really looked at him, at the kindness in his eyes, the certainty in his voice, the way he stood like nothing in the world could shake him, and for the first time in years, she let herself hope. Maybe, just maybe, this could work. Maybe she really could be safe. Thank you, she said quietly. Kwame reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he took her hand. His palm was warm. Steady. You do not need to thank me for being human, he said. Now come, let us have dinner, and perhaps we can simply be two people talking. No crowns, no fear, just us. Clara nodded and let him lead her to the dining room. Outside, the city buzzed with rumors, but inside, for just this moment, she was safe, and that was enough. The next morning, Clara woke to sunlight streaming through silk curtains. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then, memory flooded back. The hotel, Mark's rage, Kwame's steady voice promising safety. She checked her phone. 15 more messages from Mark. She deleted them without reading and got dressed. When she emerged from the guest room, she heard sounds from the kitchen. Actual cooking sounds. Pans clanking, water running. She followed the noise and stopped in the doorway. King Kwame Adeyemi stood at the stove, wearing dress pants and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He was making eggs. "Good morning," he said without turning around. "I hope you slept well. You're cooking." "I am." He glanced over his shoulder with a slight smile. "Does this surprise you?" "Kind of. Don't you have people who do this?" "I do, but sometimes I enjoy doing ordinary things." He plated the eggs and gestured to the small table. "Please, sit." Clara sat, feeling strange. Like she'd stepped into someone else's life. Kwame brought over 2 plates, scrambled eggs with herbs, toast with butter, fresh fruit. Simple food, but it smelled amazing. "I didn't know what you liked," he said, taking the seat across from her, "so I made what my mother used to make for me." Clara took a bite. The eggs were perfect, fluffy and rich. "This is really good. Thank you." He seemed pleased. "My mother believed everyone should know how to feed themselves, even princes." They ate in comfortable silence for a moment. Through the windows, Boston stretched out under a clear blue sky. Normal people going to normal jobs, living normal lives. "What are you thinking?" Kwame asked. "That this feels like a dream. Like I'll wake up and be back in my apartment with Mark. You are awake, and you are here. For how long, though?" Clara set down her fork. "I can't hide in your hotel suite forever." "No, but you can stay until we find a better solution." "There isn't a better solution. I don't have money for my own place, can't go to a shelter because Mark would find me. Can't leave Boston because—" She trailed off. "Because? Because I have nothing. No education past high school, no skills except waiting tables, nowhere to go." Kwame was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You have more than you think. You have courage, intelligence, kindness. These things are not nothing. They don't pay rent. Perhaps not, but they are worth far more." He pushed his plate aside and leaned forward. "Clara, I want to help you, truly help you, not just shelter you for a few days." "Why?" The question burst out of her. "I don't understand why you care. Because you asked for help. And because—" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Because I know what it is to feel trapped. To have everyone see you one way while you feel another way inside. You're a king. How can you feel trapped? My crown comes with expectations, duties. I cannot simply walk away from my country, my people. Every choice I make affects thousands of lives." His eyes met hers. "But when I am with you, I do not feel like a king. I feel like a man, and that is a gift I did not expect." Clara's heart hammered. She didn't know what to say. A knock on the door broke the moment. Malik entered without waiting for permission. "Your Majesty, we have a problem." He held up his phone. "Someone took photos yesterday, during the incident with the husband. They've been posted online." Kwame took the phone. His expression didn't change as he scrolled. Clara stood. "Let me see." He hesitated, then handed it over. The photos showed Mark shouting in the lobby, Kwame's guards blocking him, and there, in one blurry shot, Clara standing in the background. The headline read, "African King in Hotel Altercation Over Mystery Woman." Clara's stomach dropped. "Oh God, it gets worse," Malik said. "Someone from the hotel staff talked to a reporter. They know a female employee is staying in your suite." "Who spoke?" Kwame's voice went cold. "I'm trying to find out, but the damage is done." Malik looked at Clara. "I'm sorry, but you need to leave. Today, before this becomes an international incident." "No," Kwame said simply. "Your Majesty." "I said no. She stays. The council is already calling. The press office is being flooded with questions. Your father's advisors—" "My father is dead!" Kwame's voice cracked like thunder. "I am king, and I will not cast her out to satisfy gossip." Malik's jaw tightened. "Then you are making a grave mistake." He left, his footsteps sharp on the marble floor. Clara felt sick. "He's right. I should go." "Where will you go?" "I don't know, but I can't let you destroy your reputation for me." Kwame took her hand. "Listen to me carefully. I have spent my entire life being the perfect prince, the perfect king, following every rule, never causing scandal. And do you know what it has brought me?" Clara shook her head. "Loneliness. A life where everyone wants something from me, but no one truly sees me." His grip tightened slightly. "You see me, and I will not let you go simply because people talk. But your country will survive some negative headlines. This I promise you." Clara wanted to argue, but the determination in his eyes stopped her. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know, but you are not alone in your fear." By afternoon, the story had exploded. Clara sat in the guest room, watching news clips on her phone. Every major outlet was covering it. King Kwame Adeyemi embroiled in domestic dispute at Boston hotel. Sources say mystery woman is married hotel employee. Royal scandal rocks diplomatic visit. Some headlines were worse. They called her a homewrecker, a gold digger, said she was trying to trap a rich man. Lena texted, "Are you okay? Everyone here is talking. Mrs. Palmer is keeping people away, but it's crazy." Clara, "I'm fine. Tell Mrs. Palmer thank you." Lena, "What actually happened?" Clara stared at the message. What could she say? That a king had saved her from her abusive husband, that he'd given her shelter when she had nowhere else to go. It sounded insane even to her. "Clara, it's complicated. I'll explain when I can." She turned off her phone and walked to the window. Down below, she could see news vans parked outside the hotel. Reporters with cameras. They were waiting for her, waiting to tear her apart. The door opened. Kwame entered, his face tight. "The hotel manager has agreed to restrict access to this floor," he said. "No staff except those I personally approve. No guests. You're turning your suite into a fortress because of me. I am ensuring your safety." "This is insane." Clara turned to face him. "I'm a waitress. You're a king. This shouldn't be happening. And yet it is. You could fix this. Hold a press conference. Say I was just a hotel employee in distress, that you helped me as any decent person would. Distance yourself from me. I will not lie. It wouldn't be a lie. It's the truth." "It is not the full truth." Kwame moved closer. "The full truth is that you are not just an employee I helped. You are a woman I have come to care for, and I will not pretend otherwise." Clara's breath caught. "You barely know me. I know enough. I know you are brave. I know you make me laugh. I know that for the first time in years I look forward to each day." He reached up and gently touched her cheek. "I know that when I look at you, I see someone worth fighting for." "Kwame." His name felt strange on her lips. Intimate. "You asked me yesterday why I help you. This is why, because you matter. To me." Clara's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever said anything like that to her before. Mark had said he loved her, but it was possessive love, controlling love. This felt different. This felt like freedom. "I'm broken," she whispered. "I have so much baggage, so many problems. We are all broken in some way. That does not make us less worthy of care." He was so close now. She could feel the warmth of him, smell his cologne, subtle and expensive. "What are we doing?" she asked. "I do not know, but I would like to find out, if you would." Clara knew she should say no, should protect him from the scandal she'd brought into his life. But she was tired of being afraid, tired of denying herself anything good. "Yes," she said, "I would like that." Kwame smiled. It transformed his whole face, making him look younger, less like a king and more like a man. "Good. Then perhaps tonight we can have dinner. Just us. No guards hovering, no Malik interrupting. Simply two people enjoying each other's company." "That sounds perfect." That evening, Kwame ordered the staff to leave the suite. He and Clara were completely alone for the first time. He'd arranged for food to be delivered earlier, covered dishes kept warm. Now he set the small dining table himself, like they were in a normal apartment instead of a royal suite. "I feel underdressed," Clara said, looking at her jeans and sweater. "You look beautiful." She blushed. Mark never complimented her unless he wanted something. They sat down to eat. The food was amazing, some kind of stew with spices that made her mouth tingle. Flatbread, roasted vegetables. "This is from your country?" Clara asked. "Yes, I had the chef prepare traditional dishes. I thought you might enjoy trying something new." "It's delicious." They talked as they ate. Kwame told her about his homeland, the red clay roads, the markets full of bright fabrics and loud bargaining, the way music filled every street corner. "It sounds wonderful," Clara said. "It is, but also difficult. We are small, not wealthy. Other nations try to take advantage." He set down his fork. "My father spent his life fighting to keep us independent, to protect our people. When he died 2 years ago, that burden fell to me. That's a lot of weight to carry. Sometimes I wonder if I am strong enough." Clara looked at this man who seemed so unshakable. "You seem pretty strong to me." "Only because I hide my doubts well." He smiled slightly. "My mother used to say, the true strength is not in never falling. It is in getting up each time you fall." She died when I was 12. Cancer, very fast. "I'm sorry." "Thank you. She was remarkable, kind but fierce. She taught me that power without compassion is tyranny." His eyes met Clara's. "When I saw you yesterday, trembling and afraid, I heard her voice, telling me to help." to be the man she raised. Clara reached across the table and took his hand. She would be proud of you. I hope so. They finished eating and moved to the couch. Rain started falling outside, drumming against the windows. Tell me about you, Kwame said. Your family, your life before Mark. Clara hesitated. Her past felt ugly compared to his. There's not much to tell. My mum died when I was 16. Cancer, like your mum. My dad, he tried, but he didn't really know how to raise a daughter alone. He drank a lot. We fought a lot. She picked at a thread on the couch cushion. He died in a car accident when I was 19. After that, I was alone. No siblings. No, just me. That must have been frightening to be so young and alone. I managed, got a job waitressing, rented a tiny apartment. It wasn't much, but it was mine. She smiled bitterly. Then I met Mark at a bar. He was charming, attentive, said I was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. I fell hard. When did things change? Right after we got married. Like a switch flipped. Suddenly I was doing everything wrong. My clothes were too tight. I smiled too much at male customers. I didn't clean the apartment right. She closed her eyes. The first time he hit me, he cried after, said he was sorry, that his father used to hit his mother and he'd sworn he'd never be that man. He begged me to forgive him. And you did. I did, because I didn't have anyone else, because I thought maybe I could fix him, because I was too ashamed to admit I'd made a mistake. She looked at Kwame. Stupid, right? Not stupid, human. I wasted 3 years of my life. You survived 3 years. That is not the same as wasting them. Clara felt tears building. I don't know how to be anything other than afraid. I don't know how to trust that this, she gestured between them, is real. It is real, I promise you that. How can you be sure? Because I feel it. Here. He placed his hand over his heart. I have spent years surrounded by people who want my wealth or my power or my influence. You want none of those things. You simply want to be safe, to be seen, and that is... He paused, searching for words. That is precious. Clara didn't know when she started crying, but suddenly tears were streaming down her face, and Kwame was pulling her close, letting her soak his expensive shirt. I'm scared, she sobbed. I'm so scared this will all fall apart. Then we will be scared together. They sat like that for a long time. The rain fell. The city glowed below. And for the first time in years, Clara let herself be held without fear. Later that night, unable to sleep, Clara found Kwame on the rooftop terrace. He stood at the railing, looking out at the city lights. I did not wake you, did I? He asked as she approached. Couldn't sleep. Nor could I. She stood beside him. The air was cool but not cold. Below, Boston sparkled like someone had scattered diamonds across the ground. It's beautiful up here, she said. Yes. I come here when I need to think. What are you thinking about? He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, My mother, she used to say that the universe puts people in our path for a reason, that every meeting has meaning. Do you believe that? I did not. For a long time after she died, I believed everything was random, cruel, without purpose. He turned to look at her. But then I met you, and I wonder if perhaps she was right. Maybe we were both meant to find each other. At exactly the right time, perhaps. They stood in comfortable silence. Clara felt peaceful in a way she hadn't in years. Can I tell you something? She said finally. Anything. When I was a little girl, before my mum got sick, she used to read me fairy tales, and I always loved the ones where the princess got rescued, got her happy ending. She laughed softly. I grew up believing someone would come save me, make everything better. But life isn't like that, you know. Real life is messy and hard, and nobody's coming to rescue you. And yet here you are. Here I am, in a castle in the sky with a real king. It feels like those fairy tales. But I'm not a princess. I'm just a broken girl who makes bad choices. Kwame turned to face her fully. You are not broken. You are healing. There is a difference. How can you be so sure? Because I see you. Not the scared woman in the restaurant. Not the wife running from her husband. I see Clara, the woman who makes me laugh, who challenges me, who reminds me what it means to be human. He reached up and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered on her cheek. You are not a damsel in a story, he said softly. You are the hero of your own life. I am simply honored to walk beside you for a while. Clara's breath caught. His face was so close to hers now. Kwame, she whispered. Yes? I think I'm falling for you. His smile was gentle. Good, because I have already fallen for you. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. But Clara didn't want to pull away. She wanted this, wanted him. Their lips met, soft at first, tentative, like they were both afraid to break something precious, then deeper. Kwame's hand cradled the back of her head. Clara gripped his shirt, pulling him closer. The kiss was everything, gentle but passionate, safe but thrilling. It made her feel alive in a way she'd forgotten was possible. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing hard. "Wow," Clara whispered. "Indeed," she laughed. Then he laughed, and suddenly they were both laughing like teenagers, giddy and breathless. "I have never felt this way," Kwame admitted. "So free. So myself." "Me either." He kissed her again, and Clara let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, happy endings were real after all. The next morning, Clara woke to shouting. She stumbled out of the guest room to find Malik and Kwame in a heated argument. "Cannot continue like this," Malik was saying. "The council has demanded you return home immediately. Your uncle is threatening to challenge your authority." "Let him try." "Your Majesty, please, I am begging you. Think about your country, your people." "I am thinking about them. I am thinking about what kind of king I want to be. One who abandons those who need help, or one who stands by his principles? This is not about principles. This is about a woman you barely know. A woman who matters to me." Malik spotted Clara in the doorway. His expression hardened. "She is destroying you. Can you not see that?" "Malik, enough." "No, not enough. I have served your family for 20 years. I watched you grow from boy to man to king, and I will not stay silent while you throw everything away. Then perhaps you should leave." The words hung in the air like smoke. Malik's face went white. "Your Majesty, if you cannot respect my choices, then you are no longer needed here." Malik looked between them. Clara saw the hurt in his eyes, the betrayal. "As you wish, Your Majesty." He gave a stiff bow and walked out. The door slammed shut. Silence fell. "Kwame," Clara said quietly, "you can't fire him because of me." "I did not fire him. I simply said he could leave if he wished." "That's the same thing." "No, it is not." Kwame ran his hand over his face. He looked tired suddenly, worn down. "Malik is loyal, but he does not understand. None of them do." Clara walked over to him. "What don't they understand? That I am tired of living for everyone else. That for once in my life I want to choose something for myself, choose someone for myself." His eyes met hers, full of desperation and hope. "You're choosing me," Clara said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, I am choosing you." The weight of those words settled on her shoulders. This wasn't just a kind man helping someone in need anymore. This was real. This was him risking everything. His reputation, his country, his crown, for her. "What if I'm not worth it?" she whispered. "You are worth everything." Clara wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. But a voice in her head, Mark's voice, whispered that she'd ruin this, that she ruined everything she touched. "I need some air," she said abruptly. She went to the guest room and closed the door, sat on the bed with her head in her hands. This was too much, too fast. She wasn't ready for this kind of love, this kind of sacrifice. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Enjoying your royal vacation? Hope it's worth it when you have nothing left. You know where you belong. With me, always with me." And Clara's blood turned to ice. Mark had found a way to contact her. Even here, even surrounded by guards and locked doors, he'd found her. She was never going to be free, never going to escape him. A knock on the door made her jump. "Clara," Kwame's voice. "May I come in?" She wiped her eyes quickly. "Yes." He entered and immediately saw her face. "What happened?" She showed him the message. Kwame's expression went cold, dangerous. "How did he get this number?" "I don't know. I gave it to Lena, but she wouldn't. I will have my security trace it." He sat beside her. "Clara, look at me." She did. His eyes were fierce. "He is trying to scare you. Do not let him. He'll never stop. You don't understand. He'll keep coming, keep threatening, keep finding ways to hurt me. Then I will keep protecting you. For how long? You have to go home eventually. You have a country to run, and I'll still be here. Alone. You will not be alone." "What does that mean?" Kwame took her hands. "Come with me. When I return home, come with me." Clara's heart stopped. "What?" "Come to my country. You will be safe there, protected, free to start over. I can't just leave Boston. My job, my life." "What life? Waiting tables and living in fear. That is not a life. That is survival." He was right. She knew he was right. But the idea of leaving everything, traveling across the world. "I don't know," she said. Kwame's face fell slightly, but he nodded. "I understand. It is too much too fast. It's not that I don't want to. It's just, You are afraid, and you have every right to be. He squeezed her hands. I will not push you, but know that the offer stands. Always. Clara looked at this man who'd turned her whole world upside down. This king who wanted to take her to Africa, who promised safety and freedom and love. It sounded too good to be true, but maybe, just maybe, it wasn't. Let me think about it, she said finally. Please. Of course. Take all the time you need. But even as he said it, Clara knew time was running out, for both of them. 2 days passed in a strange kind of limbo. Clara stayed in the suite while the media circus raged outside. Reporters camped at the hotel entrance. Photographers tried to bribe staff for information. Inside, Clara felt like she was going crazy. She couldn't leave, couldn't go back to work, couldn't even walk down to the lobby without causing a scene. Kwame tried to make it bearable. They watched movies, played cards, talked for hours about everything and nothing. But Clara could see the strain wearing on him too, the constant phone calls from his advisors, the stress lines appearing around his eyes. On the 3rd morning, she found him on the terrace again, staring at the city. You need a break, she said. He turned. I am fine. You're not fine. You're exhausted. When was the last time you left this suite? I do not need to leave. Yes, you do. We both do. An idea formed in her mind. Crazy, but maybe necessary. What if we went out just for a few hours? Clara, the press. What if they didn't recognize us? What if we wore disguises, baseball caps and sunglasses, regular clothes? Kwame looked skeptical. I am not certain that would work. It might not, but don't you want to try? Don't you want to feel normal for just a little while? She saw him wavering, the temptation clear on his face. A few hours, he said finally. But we take one guard, discreetly. Deal. An hour later, they slipped out through the service entrance. Kwame wore jeans, which looked strange on him, and a Boston Red Sox cap pulled low. Sunglasses hid his distinctive eyes. Clara wore similar clothes, her hair tucked up under a Patriots cap. One of Kwame's guards, a quiet man named James, followed at a distance in plain clothes. The morning air was crisp and cool. Clara breathed deeply, tasting freedom. Where should we go? Kwame asked. The harbor market. It's always crowded. We'll blend in. They walked through Boston's streets like ordinary people. No one looked twice at them. No cameras flashed. Clara felt lighter than she had in days. This is wonderful, Kwame said. A genuine smile spread across his face. I had forgotten what this feels like. What? Being invisible. They wandered through the harbor market, surrounded by tourists and locals. Vendors sold fresh fish and lobster rolls. Street musicians played. Children ran between the stalls, laughing. Kwame bought them lobster rolls from a food cart. They sat on a bench overlooking the water, eating with their hands like everyone else. This is the best thing I have ever tasted, Kwame declared. Clara laughed. It's just a lobster roll. It is freedom in food form. She leaned against his shoulder. Thank you for this. Thank you for suggesting it. I needed this more than I realized. They spent the next 2 hours exploring. Kwame bought a silly t-shirt that said, Boston Strong. Clara found a street artist selling paintings and spent 20 minutes admiring them. You like art? Kwame asked. I used to paint before I got married. Nothing good, just for fun. What did you paint? Landscapes mostly. Sunsets, the ocean, places that felt peaceful. She smiled sadly. Mark said it was a waste of time, that I should focus on useful things. He was wrong. Art is never a waste. Maybe I'll paint again someday. I would like to see that. Kwame took her hand. In fact, I have a room in my palace. Windows that overlook the valley. Perfect light for painting. You could use it if you wanted. Clara's heart squeezed. He was still offering her that future. Still believing she'd say yes. Kwame, I know, you need time. I am simply saying the offer remains. They started walking back toward the hotel. Clara felt reluctant to return to their cage, even their comfortable one. That's when she noticed the car, a black sedan, moving slowly along the street, staying about half a block behind them. Kwame, she said quietly. Don't look now, but I think someone's following us. He tensed but didn't turn. Are you certain? Pretty certain. Black car. It's been behind us for 3 blocks. James appeared beside them, seemingly out of nowhere. I see it, Your Majesty. We should return immediately. They walked faster. The car matched their pace. Clara's heart pounded. Was it Mark? Or just paparazzi? They rounded a corner. James led them through a shortcut between buildings. The car couldn't follow. But when they emerged on the next street, there it was again. Waiting. Run, James said. They ran. Down an alley. Through a parking garage. James stayed between them and the car, his hand inside his jacket where Clara knew he carried a weapon. Finally, they reached the hotel's service entrance. James punched in the code, and they stumbled inside. Safe. Clara bent over, gasping for breath. Her whole body shook. "Did you see the driver?" Kwame asked James. "White male, 30s, could be the husband. Get me license plate information. Track that vehicle." "Yes, sir." James disappeared. Kwame turned to Clara. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, but tears streamed down her face. "I can't do this. I can't live like this. Clara, every time I think I'm safe, he finds me. Every time I take one step forward, he pulls me back." She slid down the wall and sat on the floor. "I'm so tired, Kwame. I'm so tired of being afraid." He sat beside her, didn't try to hold her, just sat there, his presence steady and solid. "When I was young," he said quietly, "I was afraid of the dark. My mother would sit outside my room every night until I fell asleep. One night I asked her if she ever got afraid. She said yes all the time, but fear was not the enemy. Letting fear control you, that was the real danger. I don't know how not to let it control me." "You do. You have already done it. You asked for help. You left him. You are still here, still fighting. That is courage. It doesn't feel like courage. It feels like barely surviving. Sometimes they are the same thing." They sat in that hallway for a long time. Service workers passed but didn't bother them. Eventually Clara's breathing steadied. "I'm sorry," she said. "I ruined our perfect day. You ruined nothing. He did." Kwame's voice hardened. "And I will not let him hurt you again. I promise you this." That evening, security confirmed it had been Mark's car. He'd somehow tracked them to the market. "How?" Clara asked. "How did he know we'd be there?" "We are investigating," James said. "He may have been watching the hotel, waiting." Kwame paced the suite like a caged lion. "From now on, you do not leave this floor, not even with disguises." "Kwame, no, it is too dangerous." "So, I'm just supposed to stay locked in here forever, until we find a better solution?" "Yes." Clara felt something snap inside her. "I can't do this. I can't be locked up again. This is not the same as what he did to you, isn't it? You're telling me where I can go, what I can do. How is that different?" Kwame stopped pacing. Hurt flashed across his face. "I am trying to protect you. I know, but I don't want to need protection. I want to be free. You cannot be free if you are dead." The words hung between them. Sharp, terrible, true. Clara wrapped her arms around herself. "I know, you're right, I'm sorry. No, I am sorry, I should not have raised my voice." He ran his hand over his face. "This situation is impossible. I do not know how to fix it. Maybe you can't fix it. Maybe some things are just broken. I do not accept that. You might have to." Kwame looked at her for a long moment. Then he walked away, disappearing into his bedroom. Clara stood alone in the living room, feeling the walls close in. She didn't see him for the rest of the day. He stayed in his room taking calls. She heard his voice through the door, speaking in his native language. The tone was sharp, frustrated. That night, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. The suite felt too quiet, too empty. Around midnight, she heard rain start to fall, heavy drops against the windows. Unable to sleep, she got up and wandered to the living room. Kwame stood by the window, watching the storm. He'd changed into pajama pants and a t-shirt. For once, he looked like a regular person instead of a king. "I'm sorry," Clara said from the doorway, "for what I said earlier." He turned. "You spoke from pain. I understand. It wasn't fair. You're not like Mark. I know that. But you are right. This situation cannot continue." He gestured to the couch. "Come, sit. We need to talk." Her stomach dropped. Those words never meant anything good. She sat. He sat across from her, maintaining distance. "My council has demanded I return home," he said, "immediately. The scandal is affecting diplomatic relations. Other countries are questioning my judgment." "Oh, I leave in 3 days. 3 days." The words felt like a death sentence. "I understand," Clara said quietly. "I want you to come with me. Kwame, I know you are afraid. I know this is fast. But Clara, I cannot leave you here with him. I cannot go back to my country and wonder every day if you are safe, if he has hurt you again. I can't just leave my whole life behind." "What life?" His voice was gentle but firm. "Your apartment is in his name. Your job. They cannot protect you from him. Your friends care, but they cannot help you the way I can. I can figure something out, get a restraining order, move to another city. He will find you. Men like him always do." Clara knew he was right, but the thought of leaving everything, crossing an ocean to a country she'd never seen, terrified her. "What would I even do there?" she asked. I don't speak the language, don't know anyone except you. You would learn, and you would not be alone. I would be there. As what? Your charity case? The poor American girl you rescued? Pain flashed across his face. Is that what you think this is? I don't know what this is. Kwame moved to sit beside her. He took her hands in his. Clara, I am falling in love with you. Perhaps I have already fallen. You are not a charity case. You are a woman I admire, a woman who makes me laugh and challenges me and reminds me what it means to be human. His eyes searched hers. Come with me, not as someone I am saving, but as someone I want by my side. Clara's heart hammered. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you are brave and kind and stronger than you think. I know that when I am with you, I feel more myself than I have in years. He squeezed her hands. Is it fast? Yes. Is it complicated? Yes. But it is also real, and I am tired of living a life that is not real. Tears slid down Clara's cheeks. She wanted to say yes, wanted to believe in this fairy tale, but doubt whispered in her ear. What if he changes? What if you get there and realize you made a huge mistake? What if you're just running from one cage to another? I need time, she whispered. You have 3 days. That's not enough time to make this kind of decision. I know, but it is all we have. The next morning, Clara woke to shouting again. She ran to the living room. Malik had returned and he wasn't alone. 3 men in expensive suits stood with him. They looked angry. Your Majesty, one of them said stiffly, the council has sent us to bring you home immediately. I leave in 3 days as planned. No, you leave today, within the hour. Kwame's face went hard. I am your king. I decide when I leave. You are king, yes, but the council has voted. If you do not return today, they will invoke Article 7. Clara saw Kwame go pale. They would not dare. They already have. Your uncle has challenged your authority. He claims you are unfit to rule, that you have abandoned your duties for... The man's eyes flicked to Clara with disgust. For a woman, my uncle has no right. He has the council's support, and the support of the military. If you do not return immediately, there will be a coup. Your people will suffer. The room went silent. Clara felt sick. This was her fault, all of it. Give me 1 hour, Kwame said finally. I will be ready. The men nodded and left with Malik. When they were alone, Clara couldn't look at him. You have to go, she said. Come with me. I can't, don't you see? I'm the reason this is happening. If I come with you, it'll be even worse. I do not care. But I do. Clara stood up. I care. You have a whole country depending on you. I can't let you lose that because of me. So what are you saying, that you choose to stay here with him? No, I'm saying you need to go home and fix this, and I need to figure out my own life without me. His voice was flat, empty. Kwame, no, I understand. It is too much, too fast. I should not have pushed. He stood and walked to the window. You are right. My country needs me, and you need to find your own way. Clara felt like her heart was being ripped out. I'm sorry. Do not be sorry. You are being practical, wise. All the things I have failed to be these past days. That's not true. You've been amazing. You saved my life. Did I? Or did I simply delay the inevitable? Don't say that. He turned to face her. His eyes were wet. I love you, he said simply. I know it is too soon. I know it sounds absurd, but I do. And I think you love me too. But you're too afraid to admit it. Clara's tears flowed freely now. I am afraid of everything. I know. And I do not blame you. He walked over and cupped her face gently. But know this. My offer stands. Today, tomorrow, a year from now. If you ever need me, I will be there. Always. He kissed her forehead. Soft, final. Then he walked to his bedroom to pack. Clara sat on the couch in a daze while Kwame prepared to leave. Staff came and went, carrying luggage. James coordinated transportation. Malik approached her. His expression was carefully neutral. I have arranged for you to stay in the hotel for 1 more week, he said. Paid in full. After that, you will need to make other arrangements. Thank you. I also spoke with Mrs. Palmer. She has agreed to give you your job back, if you want it. Clara nodded numbly. For what it's worth, Malik said quietly, I believe you care for him, and he certainly cares for you. But this world, his world, is complicated. Sometimes love is not enough. I know. Do you? He studied her. He was willing to give up everything for you. His crown, his country, everything he has ever known. Are you willing to do the same for him? The question hit her like a punch. But she didn't have an answer. Malik nodded like she'd confirmed something. Then he walked away. An hour later, Kwame emerged from his room. He wore a suit again, every inch the king. The man she'd laughed with kissed on the rooftop. He was buried under layers of duty and obligation. "I am ready," he told James. They walked toward the door. Clara followed, not sure what to say. How to say goodbye to someone who'd changed everything. At the elevator, Kwame turned to her. "Be safe," he said. "And Clara, you are stronger than you believe. Do not let fear rule your life." "Kwame, The elevator doors opened. His security ushered him inside. Their eyes met one last time. Clara saw everything there. Love, pain, hope, resignation. Then the doors closed, and he was gone. Clara stood in the hallway, staring at the closed elevator doors. Staff rushed past her, taking the last of the luggage. In 15 minutes, the suite was empty. Clara walked back inside. It felt cavernous without Kwame's presence. Just expensive furniture and empty rooms. She sat on the couch where they'd talked for hours, picked up a cushion and held it to her chest. What had she done? She'd let him go, let him walk away. The one person who'd made her feel safe and seen and loved. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Heard your boyfriend left. Guess it's just you and me again. Like it should be. I'll see you soon. M." Clara's blood ran cold. Mark knew. Of course he knew. He'd probably been watching the hotel, waiting for this moment. She was alone again, vulnerable again, and she had no one to blame but herself. That night, Clara lay in the guest room, her room for 6 more days, and stared at the ceiling. She thought about Kwame's offer. Africa, a new life, freedom. She thought about his words. "You are stronger than you believe." She thought about Malik's question. Are you willing to give up everything for him? And somewhere around 3 in the morning, she realized the answer. Yes, yes, she was willing. Because what did she have to give up? A job that barely paid her bills, an apartment filled with bad memories, a city where her abusive husband hunted her. She had nothing here worth keeping, but she had everything to gain. Clara sat up, her heart pounding. She grabbed her phone and pulled up her messages with Lena. "I need your help. Can you come to the hotel tomorrow morning? It's important." The response came immediately. Lena must have been awake too. "Of course. What do you need?" Clara took a deep breath and typed, "Help me pack. I'm leaving the country." Morning came slowly. Clara didn't sleep. She made lists, checked flight prices to West Africa, realized she didn't even know the name of Kwame's country. She laughed at that. She was planning to follow a man across the world to a place she couldn't even name. It should have scared her. But instead, she felt light, free. At 8 o'clock, Lena arrived with coffee and concern. "Okay, talk to me," Lena said, sitting on the bed. "What's going on?" Clara told her everything. The whole story. Mark's abuse, Kwame's protection, the kiss on the rooftop, his offer to take her to Africa. Lena listened without interrupting. When Clara finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "You love him," Lena said finally. It wasn't a question. "I think I do. Is that crazy?" "Maybe. But sometimes crazy is exactly what we need." Lena grabbed Clara's hand. "Are you sure about this? Leaving everything? Going somewhere you've never been?" "I'm not sure about anything, but I know I can't stay here. Mark will never stop, and I can't live like this anymore." "What about money? A passport?" "I have a passport. Got it years ago when I thought Mark and I might take a honeymoon. We never did." Clara laughed bitterly. "And money? I have about $200. Enough for a cab to the airport, maybe." "What about a ticket? Do you even know where you're going?" Clara's certainty wavered. She hadn't thought this through, hadn't planned anything. "I'll figure it out," she said, trying to sound confident. Lena studied her. "You're serious about this?" "I am." "Then I'm going to help you, even though I think you're insane." They spent the morning making a plan. Lena would buy Clara's ticket online to avoid using Clara's name at the airport. She'd drive Clara there tonight when Mark wouldn't expect it. Clara would take only what she could carry, leave everything else behind, including her fear. "What if he doesn't want me?" Clara asked as they packed. "What if I show up and he's moved on?" "That man looked at you like you hung the moon," Lena said firmly. "He'll want you. Trust me." Clara wanted to believe her, but doubt still whispered in her mind. What if this was a mistake? What if she was running towards something worse? But then she remembered Kwame's words. Sometimes love is worth the risk, and she knew deep in her bones that this was right. She was going to Africa. She was going to find Kwame, and she was going to claim the life she deserved. The day passed in a blur of preparation. Clara sorted through her meager belongings, deciding what to bring and what to leave behind. Most of it she left. It all felt like it belonged to a different person anyway. The woman who owned these things was scared, trapped, broken. Clara didn't want to be that woman anymore. By evening, she had one small suitcase and a backpack. Lena had bought a plane ticket using her own credit card. Clara would pay her back somehow, someday. "The flight leaves at 11 tonight," Lena said, showing Clara the confirmation on her phone. "I'll pick you up at 9. We'll go straight to the airport. What if Mark is watching? Then we'll deal with it." "But we're doing this, Clara. You're getting out." After Lena left, Clara stood in the empty suite. She'd spent less than a week here, but it felt like a lifetime. This place had been her sanctuary, her prison, her awakening. She walked through each room, saying goodbye. The couch where she and Kwame had talked for hours. The kitchen where he'd made her breakfast. The terrace where they'd kissed under the stars. "Thank you," she whispered to the empty air, "for giving me hope." At 8:30, Clara's phone rang. An unknown number. Her finger hovered over the decline button, but something made her answer. "Hello? Ms. Jensen?" A woman's voice, professional. "This is Detective Sarah Harris with the Boston Police Department. I need to speak with you about your husband, Mark Jensen." Clara's heart stopped. "What about him? Is it possible for us to meet? Tonight? It's urgent. I'm leaving town tonight. Please, Ms. Jensen, this is important. I'm downstairs in the hotel lobby. Just give me 10 minutes. Clara's mind raced. A detective about Mark. What had he done now? "Okay, I'll be right down." She grabbed her room key and took the elevator to the lobby. A woman in her mid-30s wearing a dark blazer stood near the front desk. She had kind eyes and a no-nonsense expression. "Ms. Jensen?" The detective extended her hand. "Thank you for meeting me. Is there somewhere private we can talk?" They found a quiet corner in the hotel's business center. Detective Harris pulled out a folder. "I've been investigating your husband for the past 3 days," she said. "After the incident here at the hotel, several staff members came forward. They've witnessed him harassing you, threatening you. We also pulled security footage." Clara's throat tightened. "I didn't file a complaint." "I know, but witnesses did. And Ms. Jensen, what I see in that footage concerns me deeply." She opened the folder and showed Clara photos. Mark grabbing her arm in the lobby, Mark shouting in her face, "This is assault, and I believe it's not the first time." Tears burned Clara's eyes. "It's not. How long has this been going on?" 3 years. Since we got married." Detective Harris's expression softened. "I'm sorry, I know this is difficult, but I need you to tell me everything, on the record." Clara took a shaky breath. Then she told the whole story. Every push, every bruise, every threat. The time he threw a plate at her head, the time he locked her out on the balcony in winter, the constant fear. Detective Harris took notes, her face grim. "Why didn't you report this before?" she asked gently. "I tried once, 2 years ago. The officers who came said it looked like a domestic dispute, that Mark and I needed to work it out. They left. He hurt me worse that night. I'm sorry that happened. That should never have happened." The detective leaned forward. "Ms. Jensen, Clara, I want to help you, but I need you to file an official statement. Will you do that?" Clara thought about the plane ticket, about Kwame waiting on the other side of the world, but she also thought about every other woman trapped like she'd been. Every other person too afraid to speak up. "Yes," she said, "I'll do it." They went to the police station. Clara gave her statement, every word recorded. She showed them photos she'd taken of bruises over the years, texts from Mark threatening her, a whole digital trail of abuse she'd kept hidden, too ashamed to share. It took hours. By the time they finished, it was past 10 o'clock. "What happens now?" Clara asked. "We arrest him. With your statement and the evidence, we have enough for assault charges, possibly more. He'll be so angry. He won't be able to touch you. We'll make sure of that." Detective Harris put her hand on Clara's shoulder. "You did the right thing. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you did." Clara's phone buzzed, a text from Lena. "Where are you?" "It's 10:15. We need to leave now." Clara showed the detective. "I'm supposed to be catching a flight. To Africa." Detective Harris raised her eyebrows. "Africa? It's a long story." "Well, you better go catch that flight. We have everything we need here." She handed Clara a business card. "Call me if you need anything. And Clara, be safe, be happy." Clara ran out to find Lena waiting in her beat-up Honda, engine running. "Where have you been?" Lena demanded, as Clara threw her bag in the back. "We're going to miss the flight." "Police station. I filed charges against Mark." Lena's eyes widened. "Seriously? Seriously? Holy shit, Clara." Lena threw the car into drive. You're like a whole new person. Clara smiled. Maybe I am. They sped toward the airport, racing against time. Clara watched Boston blur past the window, the city where she'd lived for 10 years, where she'd met Mark, where she'd lost herself and where she'd found herself again. I'm going to miss you, Lena said, her voice thick. I'm going to miss you too. You're the best friend I ever had. You better email me, like every day. I want to know everything. I will, I promise. They pulled up to the departures terminal with 20 minutes to spare. Lena helped Clara with her bag, then pulled her into a fierce hug. Go get your king, Lena whispered, and be happy, okay? I'll try. Don't try. Do it. Clara laughed through her tears, grabbed her things and ran inside. Security was a nightmare. Her bag got flagged. They searched through everything. Clara kept checking the time, panic rising. Finally, they cleared her. She ran through the terminal, dodging slow walkers and luggage carts. Her gate was at the very end. Of course it was. She arrived just as they were making the final boarding call. Wait, she gasped, stumbling up to the counter. I'm here. The gate agent looked annoyed but scanned her ticket. You're cutting it close. I know, I'm sorry. Gate closes in 2 minutes. Better hurry. Clara speed walked down the jet bridge, her heart pounding. She found her seat, a middle seat in economy, but she didn't care. She'd made it. As the plane taxied to the runway, Clara pulled out her phone one last time before airplane mode. She typed a message to the number Kwame had called from days ago. She had no idea if he'd see it, no idea if he'd even want to hear from her, but she typed it anyway. I'm coming. I don't know if you still want me, but I'm coming anyway. I choose you. I choose us. I choose freedom. See you soon. Clara, she hit send, just as the flight attendant told her to put her phone away. Then the plane lifted into the night sky, carrying her away from everything she'd known, toward everything she hoped for. The flight was 15 hours with one connection. Clara barely slept. Her mind spun with possibilities. What if Kwame had changed his mind? What if his country wouldn't accept her? What if she'd made a terrible mistake? But beneath the fear was something else, something warm and solid. Hope. She'd spent 3 years with hope beaten out of her, 3 years believing she deserved pain. That love meant control. Kwame had shown her different. Love could be gentle, protective, freeing. And even if this didn't work out, even if she got there and everything fell apart, she'd still done it. She'd chosen herself, her happiness, her future. That alone was worth the risk. The plane landed in Kwame's country. She'd learned it was called Azania at 2 in the afternoon local time. Clara stepped out into blazing heat and blinding sunlight. The airport was smaller than Boston's, less modern, but vibrant. Colors everywhere. People in traditional clothing mixed with business suits. Music played from speakers. Life hummed in every corner. Clara went through customs, her stomach in knots. The official looked at her passport, then at her face. Purpose of visit? I'm visiting someone. A friend. How long will you stay? I don't know yet. He stamped her passport and waved her through. Clara collected her small bag and walked into the arrivals hall. It was crowded with people holding signs, families reuniting, taxi drivers calling for fares. Her eyes scanned the crowd, looking for him. What if he wasn't here? What if he hadn't gotten her message? What if... Then she saw him. Kwame stood near the back, dressed simply in slacks and a light blue shirt. No guards visible, no crown, just a man waiting. Their eyes met across the crowded hall. For a moment, neither moved. Clara's heart hammered so hard she thought it might burst. Then Kwame smiled, that beautiful, genuine smile that transformed his whole face. Clara dropped her bag and ran. She ran through the crowd, dodging people and luggage, ran like her life depended on it. Kwame met her halfway, catching her as she threw herself into his arms. They held each other, both crying and laughing at the same time. You came, he whispered into her hair. You actually came. I'm sorry I took so long. I'm sorry I was afraid. Shh. You are here now. That is all that matters. He pulled back to look at her face, his hands cupping her cheeks. I love you, Clara said. The words felt right. True. I love you, and I should have said it before, and I was so scared, but I'm not scared anymore. Or maybe I am, but I'm doing it anyway because you were right. Love is worth the risk, and He kissed her. Right there in the middle of the airport with hundreds of people watching. Clara kissed him back, pouring everything into it. All her fear and hope and love and gratitude. When they finally broke apart, both were breathless. I got your message, Kwame said. I have been standing here for 3 hours afraid I had dreamed it. You didn't dream it. I'm real. I'm here. Yes, you are. He brushed away her tears with his thumbs. Welcome home, Clara. Home. The word settled over her like a warm blanket. Is this real? She asked. Tell me this is real. It is real, I promise you. He picked up her dropped bag with one hand and took her hand with the other. Come, let me show you your new home. They drove through the capital city in a regular car. No motorcade, no fanfare. Kwame drove himself, his hand finding Clara's every few minutes, like he needed to make sure she was really there. The city was beautiful. Modern buildings mixed with older architecture. Markets spilled onto sidewalks. Children played in the streets. The air smelled like spices and flowers and earth. It's not like I imagined, Clara said. What did you imagine? I don't know. Something more, I don't know. Poor? Primitive? He smiled slightly. We are a small nation, not rich like America, but we are not poor either. We have our own beauty. It's wonderful. They drove out of the city into rolling hills covered in green. The palace sat on a hill overlooking a valley. It was smaller than Clara expected, more like a large estate than a castle. I thought it would be bigger, she admitted. Kwame laughed. We are not a wealthy kingdom. This is what we can afford. Is it disappointing? No, it's perfect. He squeezed her hand. Come, there are people I want you to meet. Inside, the palace was cool and airy. Staff moved quietly through hallways. Kwame led Clara to a large sitting room, where Ambassador Malik waited. Malik stood when they entered. His expression was carefully neutral. Ambassador, Kwame said formally, you remember Clara? Of course. Malik bowed slightly. Welcome to Azania, Ms. Jensen. Thank you. Awkward silence fell. Clara remembered their last interaction, the judgment in Malik's eyes. I owe you an apology, Malik said suddenly. I was wrong about you. I let my concern for His Majesty cloud my judgment. You are not the problem. You never were. Clara blinked, surprised. Thank you. And, Malik continued, looking at Kwame, I was wrong to question your choices, Your Majesty. You were right. Compassion is not weakness. It is strength. Kwame smiled. Thank you, old friend. Does this mean you are staying? If you'll have me. Always. The two men embraced briefly. Clara felt her eyes fill again. Everything was falling into place. Now, Kwame said, turning to Clara, let me show you the rest of your home. The next few days passed like a dream. Kwame showed Clara everything. The palace, the city, the valley with its red earth and green trees. He introduced her to his staff, his advisors, his people. Everyone was kind, curious, but not judgmental. They seemed to understand that Clara was important to their king. Detective Harris called to tell Clara that Mark had been arrested. He'd resisted at first, but with all the evidence, he'd eventually confessed. He was facing multiple charges, years in prison. Clara felt relief wash over her. It was really over. She was really free. A week after her arrival, Kwame took her to the room he'd mentioned, the one with windows overlooking the valley. Perfect light for painting. Inside was an easel, canvas, paints, everything she needed. I do not know if you still wish to paint, he said, but if you do, this space is yours. Clara walked to the window. The view was breathtaking. Golden sunlight over green hills. Birds circling in a blue sky. It's perfect, she whispered. Kwame came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. You are perfect. I'm not. I'm messy and broken, and you are healing, and you are mine, if you wish to be. Clara turned in his arms. Is that a question? Perhaps. He smiled. Clara Jensen, will you stay here? With me? Not as my guest, not as someone I am protecting, but as my partner, my equal, my love. Yes, she said without hesitation. Yes to all of it. He kissed her softly, then deeper. Clara felt herself melting into him. This was home. Not the palace, not Azania, but this man, this feeling, this love. 2 months later, Clara stood in front of a canvas covered in paint. The valley spread before her, captured in oils and color. She'd been painting every day, sometimes for hours, finding herself again through art. Kwame came in, carrying 2 cups of tea. How is it going? He asked, setting 1 cup on the table beside her. Good. I think it's almost finished. He studied the painting. It is beautiful like you. Charmer. Truth-teller. She laughed and leaned against him. These past weeks had been the happiest of her life. Simple days, quiet mornings, long conversations, and slowly, carefully, they were building something real, something lasting. I spoke with my council today, Kwame said. About us. Clara tensed. And? They have concerns. Of course, you are American, not royal. It is unconventional, I understand. But he continued, I told them I do not care, that you make me a better king, a better man, and that my happiness matters too. What did they say? Some agreed, some did not. But ultimately, the choice is mine. He turned her to face him. And I choose you. Today, tomorrow, forever, if you will have me. Clara's heart soared. Are you asking what I think you're asking? Clara Jensen, will you marry me? Will you become my wife? My queen? Queen. The word should have terrified her. But instead she felt calm, ready. Yes, she said. 1,000 times yes. Kwame pulled out a ring. Simple gold with a small diamond. Nothing flashy. Nothing that screamed royalty. It was perfect. He slipped it on her finger and kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I love you too, forever. 6 months later, they married in a small ceremony, just close friends and family. Lena flew in from Boston, crying happy tears through the whole thing. Clara wore a simple white dress. Kwame wore traditional clothing from his culture. They spoke their vows under an open sky, promising to love and protect each other. When the officiant declared them married, the crowd erupted in cheers. Clara looked at her new husband, her king, and felt complete joy. She'd come so far, from a broken woman hiding in a hotel suite to a queen standing in the sun. The journey hadn't been easy. Some days she still felt afraid, still heard Mark's voice in her head telling her she was worthless. But those days were getting fewer, the voice growing quieter, and every time doubt crept in, Kwame was there, reminding her of her strength, her worth, her beauty. A year after that, Clara stood on the palace terrace, watching the sun set over the valley. Her valley now, her home. Inside, she could hear Kwame talking with advisors. King business. But he'd be done soon. Then they'd have dinner together like they did every night. Simple routines, normal life. Despite the palace and the title and the responsibilities, they'd found their rhythm. Clara's phone buzzed. A text from Lena. How's my favorite queen? Clara smiled and typed back, happy, really, truly happy. You deserve it, babe. Miss you, though. When can I visit again? Any time. You know that. Maybe next month? I'm dying to see the new art studio you told me about. It's a date. Love you. Love you more. Clara put her phone away and looked at the painting hanging on the terrace wall. One she'd finished last week. A self-portrait. In it, she stood strong, head high, eyes clear. No bruises. No fear. Just a woman who'd found her way home. Arms wrapped around her from behind, Kwame's warmth against her back. What are you thinking about? He asked. How far I've come. How different my life is now. Do you miss Boston? Sometimes. But not the life I had there. Just the parts that were good. Lena. The ocean. Autumn. We could visit. If you wanted. Clara turned in his arms. Maybe someday. But right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. With me. With you. In this place. In this life. She kissed him softly. You saved me, you know. No. You saved yourself. I simply held your hand while you did. Then thank you for holding my hand. Always. For as long as you'll let me. Forever then. Forever. He agreed. They stood together as the sun painted the sky in oranges and pinks. Two people from different worlds who'd found each other when they needed it most. Two people who'd chosen love over fear. Two people who'd learned that happy endings were real, if you were brave enough to reach for them. And Clara Jensen, waitress turned queen, survivor turned thriver, had finally claimed hers. 3 years later, Clara walked through the palace gardens, her hand resting on her growing belly. 6 months pregnant with their first child, a girl, they'd learned last week. A little princess. Kwame wanted to name her after his mother. Clara had agreed immediately. She could feel the baby moving inside her. Strong kicks, like she was already determined to make her presence known. Your daughter is restless today, Clara said as Kwame joined her. He placed his hand on her belly, feeling the movement. His face lit up with wonder. She will be fierce, like her mother, and compassionate, like her father. She will be perfect, Clara smiled. She will be loved. That's what matters. They continued walking hand in hand. Around them the gardens bloomed, life everywhere. Sometimes Clara thought about her old life, the woman she'd been, scared and small and convinced she deserved pain. That woman felt like a stranger now. She'd built a new life here, Not perfect, nothing was perfect, but real and good and hers. She painted every day, had even sold some pieces to galleries in the city, not because she needed the money, but because creating brought her joy. She'd learned the language, made friends, thrown herself into charity work, focusing on helping women escape domestic violence. She'd found her purpose, her voice, her power. And through it all, Kwame stood beside her, supporting her, loving her, showing her every day that love didn't have to hurt. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "That I'm happy, truly happy, and that I never thought I'd be able to say that." "You deserve happiness, Clara. You always did. I know that now, finally." They stopped at a bench overlooking the valley, the same view from her painting studio, the view that had become as familiar as breathing. "Thank you," Clara said quietly. "For what?" "For seeing me, for believing I was worth saving, for giving me a chance to start over." Kwame took her hands. "You gave yourself that chance. You asked for help. You chose to trust. You decided to be brave. We were brave together." "Yes, we were." Their daughter kicked again, strong and insistent. Both of them laughed. "She's going to be a handful," Clara said, "just like her mother." "Hey!" Kwame grinned and kissed her, soft and sweet and full of love. In the distance, the sun set over Azania, golden light washing over red earth, a new day ending, another one waiting to begin. And Clara Jensen, survivor, artist, queen, soon-to-be mother, had never felt more at peace. She'd run from pain and found love. She'd lost herself and found her strength. She'd been broken and become whole. Her story could have ended so differently, in an apartment with a man who hurt her, alone and afraid and convinced she deserved nothing better. But she'd made a different choice, taken a leap of faith, and found that sometimes when you're brave enough to ask for help, the universe sends you exactly what you need. Sometimes it sends you a king who sees your worth. Sometimes it sends you hope when you need it most. Sometimes it sends you home. Clara looked at Kwame, at the palace, at the valley stretching before them. "I love you," she said. "I love you too, forever and always." Forever and always. It was a promise she finally believed.